Imagine the most advanced air force on Earth flying thousands of missions without losing a single jet, only to suddenly have one of its top strike fighters blasted out of the sky and rumors swirling that even its stealth crown jewel was hit. That is exactly the moment the United States may be facing right now, and it could change modern warfare forever. The reported downing of a United States fighter jet over Iran marks a turning point in the ongoing conflict, not only in military terms, but also in perception, signaling that the war has entered a more dangerous and uncertain phase. For weeks, American officials had emphasized air superiority, highlighting thousands of sorties flown without the loss of a piloted aircraft. That narrative has now been disrupted. The reported destruction of an F-15E Strike Eagle, combined with earlier indications that even the advanced F-35 stealth fighter may have been damaged by Iranian defenses, raises serious questions about the evolving balance between offensive airpower and defensive systems in modern warfare. The shootdown of the F-15E Strike Eagle represents a watershed moment. The aircraft was reportedly brought down during operations over Iranian territory, with both crew members ejecting, and at least one later rescued. That is significant because the F-15E is not an obsolete aircraft. It is a highly capable multi-role strike fighter designed for deep penetration missions, equipped with advanced avionics, electronic warfare systems, and precision strike capabilities. For weeks before this event, with no help from traditional Allied forces, Americans and Israelis had conducted extensive air campaigns over Iran with little apparent resistance capable of inflicting meaningful losses. Over 20,000 sorties were flown without a single confirmed loss of a piloted aircraft. The sudden loss of an F-15, an F-35, and an A-10 changes that narrative dramatically. It is noteworthy that the F-15E and A-10 were shot down by Iran on the same day, which demonstrates that Iran's air defense network, whether through adaptation, external assistance, or sheer persistence, has reached a level of effectiveness that cannot be dismissed. Even more striking is the confusion that initially surrounded these incidents, which Iranian media first claimed that an F-35 had been shot down. A subsequent analysis indicated the aircraft was actually an F-15E. This discrepancy is not unusual in wartime, where propaganda, misinformation, and incomplete intelligence often blur the facts. However, the initial claim is still revealing. It reflects both Iran's intent to project strength and the symbolic importance of targeting advanced American aircraft. The F-35, often described as the most advanced fighter jet in the world, is designed around stealth. Its reduced radar cross-section, advanced sensor fusion, and network-centric capabilities make it exceptionally difficult to detect and engage. Yet, there are credible reports that at least one F-35 was damaged during operations and forced to make an emergency landing after being struck, possibly by Iranian fire. While not a confirmed shootdown, this incident is arguably just as important. If Iran has indeed detected and hit an F-35, even without destroying it, this suggests a significant evolution in air defense capabilities. Stealth technology does not render aircraft invisible. Rather, it reduces detection range and complicates tracking. In dense, layered air defense environments, even stealth aircraft can become vulnerable, especially if adversaries employ a combination of radar types, infrared tracking, and network systems. That brings us to the question of how Iran has achieved these capabilities. For decades, Iran has invested heavily in air defense, motivated by its inability to match the United States in conventional air power. Instead of building a large fleet of advanced fighters, Iran focused on asymmetric strategies, including missiles, drones, and integrated air defense systems. Central to this strategy is the concept of a layered defense network. Rather than relying on a single type of radar or missile system, Iran has developed a mix of long-range surveillance radars, medium-range engagement systems, and short-range point defenses. These systems are designed to overlap, creating multiple opportunities to detect and engage incoming aircraft. One of the key factors in this evolution is likely external support, particularly from China. While the exact details remain classified or speculative, there is strong reason to believe that Chinese radar technology has played a role in enhancing Iran's capabilities. China has invested heavily in counter-stealth radar systems, including low-frequency radars that can detect stealth aircraft at longer ranges, albeit with less precision. Low-frequency radars operate in bands such as VHF and UHF, which are less affected by the shaping techniques used in stealth aircraft design. While these radars may not provide precise targeting information, they can serve as early warning systems, cueing other sensors and weapons to focus on a particular area. When combined with higher-frequency fire control radars and infrared search and track systems, they form a more comprehensive detection network. China has also developed advanced passive radar systems that detect aircraft by analyzing disturbances in existing electromagnetic signals rather than by emitting their own radar waves. These systems are particularly difficult to counter because they do not reveal their location through emissions. If Iran has access to such technology, it would significantly complicate American efforts to operate undetected. Another important aspect is data integration. Modern air defense is not just about individual systems, but about how they are networked together. Chinese military doctrine emphasizes information-based warfare, where sensors, command centers, and weapons are linked in real time. If Iran has adopted similar approaches, possibly with Chinese assistance, it would explain the increasing effectiveness of its defenses. In addition to radar, missile technology plays a crucial role. Iran has developed a range of surface-to-air missiles, some of which are believed to be based on or influenced by Russian and Chinese designs. These missiles vary in range and capability, allowing Iran to engage targets at different altitudes and distances. The ability to coordinate multiple missile systems increases the likelihood of a successful intercept, even against advanced aircraft. The broader context of the war further amplifies the significance of these developments. The conflict between the United States and Iran did not emerge in isolation. It is part of a larger regional struggle involving multiple actors, including Israel, Gulf states, and various non-state groups. The initial phase of the war was characterized by overwhelming American and Allied air power, targeting Iranian military infrastructure, nuclear facilities, and command centers. However, Iran has responded with a combination of resilience and adaptation. It has used missiles and drones to strike American bases and regional targets, inflicting casualties and damage. At the same time, it has strengthened its air defenses, learning from each engagement and adjusting its tactics. This dynamic reflects a broader pattern seen in modern conflicts. Initial technological superiority often provides a decisive advantage, but over time, the defending side adapts. In Iraq and Afghanistan, insurgent groups developed countermeasures against American capabilities. In Ukraine, both sides have continuously evolved their use of drones, electronic warfare, and air defense systems. The Iran conflict appears to be following a similar trajectory. For the United States, this creates a strategic dilemma. On one hand, maintaining pressure on Iran is seen as necessary to achieve military and political objectives. On the other hand, even limited increases in losses raise the cost and risk of continued operations. The downing of an F-15 is not just a tactical setback. It is a symbolic event that could influence public opinion, Allied support, and the confidence of adversaries. One option for the United States is escalation. That could involve intensified airstrikes, more aggressive targeting of Iranian air defense systems, or expanding the scope of the conflict. However, escalation carries significant risks. Iran has demonstrated its ability to retaliate, and a broader conflict could draw in additional actors, potentially leading to a regional or even global crisis. Another option is adaptation. It would involve adjusting tactics to account for the evolving threat environment. For example, the United States could rely more heavily on standoff weapons, reducing the need for aircraft to enter heavily defended airspace. It could also increase the use of drones and unmanned systems, which are less costly in terms of both equipment and human life. Electronic warfare is another critical area. By disrupting Iranian radar and communication networks, the United States could degrade the effectiveness of air defenses. However, this is a complex and ongoing contest, as Iran is likely developing its own electronic warfare capabilities. Diplomacy remains a third option, though political considerations often constrain it. Negotiations could potentially de-escalate the conflict, but they require both sides to make concessions, which may not be politically feasible in the current environment. The role of China adds another layer of complexity. While China is unlikely to be directly involved in the conflict, its technological support to Iran could have significant implications. From China's perspective, the conflict provides an opportunity to test its systems indirectly and observe how American forces respond. It also allows China to challenge the United States' dominance without confrontation. For the United States, this raises concerns about the broader strategic competition with China. If Chinese technology is enabling Iran to challenge American air superiority, it suggests that similar systems could be used in other theaters, including the Indo-Pacific. That could affect the balance of power in future conflicts, particularly around Taiwan or the South China Sea. The psychological dimension of the conflict should not be overlooked. Warfare is not only about physical destruction but also about perception. The narrative of invincibility surrounding American airpower has been a key component of its deterrence. Incidents like the downing of an F-15 and the reported damage to an F-35 challenge that narrative. For Iran, these events are powerful propaganda tools. They demonstrate resilience and capability, both to domestic audiences and to the broader region. For other countries, they may serve as a reminder that even the most advanced military systems have vulnerabilities. At the same time, it is important to maintain perspective. One or two incidents do not fundamentally alter the balance of power. The United States still possesses overwhelming military capabilities, including a vast fleet of advanced aircraft, global logistics, and extensive intelligence assets. However, these incidents do indicate that the cost of maintaining that dominance is increasing. Looking ahead, the conflict is likely to continue evolving. Both sides will adapt their strategies, technologies, and tactics. The United States may place greater emphasis on survivability, redundancy, and flexibility. Iran will likely continue to invest in asymmetric capabilities, seeking to exploit vulnerabilities and impose costs. The interplay between offense and defense will remain a central theme. As air defenses become more capable, the effectiveness of traditional air power may decline, leading to greater reliance on other domains, such as cyber, space, and electronic warfare. This shift could have far-reaching implications for the future of military operations. In conclusion, the downing of a United States F-15 over Iran and the reported damage to an F-35 are not isolated events, but part of a broader transformation in modern warfare. They highlight the growing effectiveness of integrated air defense systems, the potential impact of Chinese technology, and the challenges facing the United States in maintaining air superiority. More importantly, they underscore the complexity of the current conflict, where technological, strategic, and political factors intersect in ways that defy simple solutions. The United States now faces a difficult choice. It can escalate, adapt, or seek a diplomatic resolution. Each option carries risks and uncertainties. What is clear, however, is that the era of uncontested air dominance is becoming increasingly uncertain, and the lessons learned in this conflict will shape military strategy for years to come.